The notification shouldn't have existed. Zara Kim stared at the alert buried deep in her patent monitoring dashboard, a filing from Tech Titan Industries that used suspiciously similar language to her own provisional patent submitted just 3 weeks ago. The words, "Adaptive Emotional Learning Algorithms," glowed on her screen like a neon warning sign in the dim light of her Soma co-working space. Her fingers trembled as she scrolled through the document. The technical specifications weren't identical, but they were close. Too close. The kind of close that spoke of inside knowledge, of someone who understood not just what she was building, but why. How? The question ricocheted through her mind as she pulled up her hiring alerts. There, 3 former Tech Titan employees had applied to join her 2-person startup in the past month, all with impeccable credentials, all suddenly interested in education technology after years in consumer AI. The coffee in her mug had gone cold hours ago, but she drank it anyway, the bitter liquid grounding her as the implications cascaded through her consciousness. Tech Titan wasn't just watching, they were positioning. Her phone buzzed, a text from her co-founder Jason. Investor meeting moved to tomorrow. They want to see the latest demo. Tomorrow. 24 hours to decide whether to reveal the breakthrough that could change everything or watch it get swallowed by a company with billion-dollar resources and 1,000-person engineering teams. Zara's reflection stared back at her from the darkened window, ghost-like against the city lights. She could see herself at 12, struggling with algebra in her Oakland Middle School's overcrowded classroom. Mrs. Thof Patterson trying to help 32 kids with problems that needed 32 different explanations. That memory had birthed her vision. An AI tutor that didn't just teach math, but understood when Sarah needed encouragement and when Marcus needed space to figure things out himself. The algorithm was perfect. Too perfect to hide, too valuable to lose. Her laptop pinged with another alert. This time, a job posting from Tech Titan. Senior Education AI Engineer, Revolutionary Personalized Learning Platform, posted 12 minutes ago. The room felt smaller suddenly, the walls pressing in. They weren't just copying her idea, they were building a team to execute it faster, better, with resources she could only dream of. She needed air, she needed perspective, she needed... Maya. The name escaped her lips before she fully formed the thought. Maya Patel, the community organizer she'd met at an education technology meetup last month. Something about Maya's quiet confidence had stuck with her, the way she'd listened to Zara's pitch, and nodded with understanding that went deeper than technical specifications. The call connected on the second ring. "Zara? It's late." Maya's voice carried that same steady calm that had impressed her before. "I know. I'm sorry. The words tumbled out. The patent filing, the job posting, the investors, the impossible choice between secrecy and survival. "Where are you?" Maya asked, the co-working space on 2nd Street. "I'll be there in 20 minutes. Don't make any decisions until then." 20 minutes stretched like hours. Zara paced the empty office, her mind running scenarios. Pull the investor meeting, file more defensive patents, pivot to enterprise software where Tech Titan wouldn't follow. Each option felt like surrender. Maya arrived carrying 2 cups of tea and wearing the kind of smile that suggested she knew something important that Zara didn't. "Tell me about the kids," Maya said, settling into the chair across from Zara's desk. "What kids?" "The ones you're building this for, not the market segment or the addressable opportunity, the actual kids." Zara found herself talking about Destiny, the 7th grader from the pilot program in East Oakland who'd gone from failing math to tutoring other students. About Marcus, who'd discovered he wasn't bad at reading, he just needed the text read aloud while he followed along. About Sarah, whose confidence had bloomed when the AI recognized her creative problem-solving approaches instead of marking them wrong. "How long do you think it would take Tech Titan to build those relationships?" Maya asked. "They don't need relationships. They need users. They'll just acquire market share through..." "How long, Zara?" The question hung in the air. Zara thought about the teachers who'd started messaging her directly when students struggled. The parents who'd shared videos of their kids explaining math concepts to younger siblings. The principal who'd called her personally to discuss expanding the pilot program. They can't, she said quietly. They can copy the technology, but they can't copy the trust. Maya's smile widened. Now you're thinking like a founder instead of a victim. But they have unlimited resources. Do they? Maya pulled out her phone, scrolled through news articles. Look at Tech Titan's education initiatives from the past 5 years. Launched with fanfare, quietly discontinued. They've tried to enter this market 4 times and failed each time. You know why? Zara shook her head. Because they think education is a technology problem. You know it's a human problem that technology can help solve. That's not copyable. The words settled into Zara's mind like pieces of a puzzle clicking into place. Her advantage wasn't in what she was building, it was in why she was building it, and for whom. There's something else, Maya said. I used to work at Tech Titan, left 3 years ago to do community organizing. I know how they think, how they move. They're not your real competition. The revelation should have shocked her, but somehow it made perfect sense. Who is? The version of yourself that's so focused on what Tech Titan might do that you forget to do what only you can do. Outside, the city hummed with late-night energy. Inside, Zara felt something shifting, like a gear finding its proper position after months of grinding. The fear was still there, but it was transforming into something sharper, more useful. What would you do? She asked. I'd stop trying to hide what I was building and start showing everyone why it matters. I'd turn transparency into a weapon they can't use against me. The next morning, Zara stood in front of the investors with a different presentation than the one she'd planned. Instead of technical specifications and market analysis, she showed videos. Destiny explaining fractions to her little brother. Marcus reading aloud with growing confidence. Sarah designing her own math problems. Tech Titan filed a similar patent last week, she said, watching their faces. They'll probably launch a competing product within 6 months. They have more money, more engineers, more everything. The room was quiet, but they don't have this. The next slide showed a map of Oakland, dotted with schools where her pilot program was running. They don't have teachers who text me on weekends. They don't have parents who send thank you videos. They don't have kids who choose to use our platform during summer vacation. She clicked to the final slide, a photo of her 12-year-old self, struggling with that algebra problem. They can copy our code. They can hire our engineers. They can even steal our ideas, but they can't steal the reason I wake up every morning and do this work. And they definitely can't steal the relationships we've built with the people who need this most. The lead investor leaned forward. What's your moat against Tech Titan? Trust, Zara said. And trust isn't code. It's earned one student, one teacher, one family at a time. It's the kind of competitive advantage that gets stronger under pressure instead of weaker. 6 months later, Tech Titan did launch their education AI platform. It was technically impressive, well-funded, and beautifully designed. It also failed to gain traction in the communities where it mattered most. Zara's startup, meanwhile, had expanded to 12 cities. Not through massive marketing campaigns or aggressive sales tactics, but through the oldest form of growth, word of mouth. Teachers recommending it to other teachers, parents sharing success stories, students asking their schools to adopt it. The algorithm was still perfect. But now Zara understood that perfect code was just the beginning. The real innovation was in the space between technology and humanity, in the trust that formed when people believed you were building something for them, not just for yourself. As she watched her team prepare for another community demo, Zara smiled. Tech Titan could copy her features, but they couldn't copy her purpose. They could replicate her technology, but they couldn't replicate the moment when a struggling student finally understood that someone had built something specifically to help them succeed. That wasn't just a competitive advantage, that was unbreakable.